Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Rich. All right, happy Monday to you all. Today we're gonna get the ball rolling with the 20th anniversary of Mike Mignola's The Amazing Screw-On Head and Other Curious Objects. Now, I bought this comic the day that it came out. I actually have the artist edition of it, which is Mike Mignola's The Amazing Screw-On Head and Other Curious Objects artist edition from IDW. It's awesome. And now they've actually collected a 20th anniversary edition. It's got a lot of extra bonuses in the book. I didn't pull those up. We're just going to look at the original story. The reason being is the original story is actually quite good, and it was exciting, fun to read. There's some really, really great... Mike's really good at reaction shots in his comics. One thing that I love about Mike's work is, if you just see it, it's got a certain vibe. It's very stoic. Its characters posed in these things, and it looks dark and kind of graphic, But he's actually really good with humor, and there's a lot of humor in the stories too. But man, when he hits a joke out of the ballpark, they are funny. There's some really, really classic moments throughout Hellboy. And they're usually little glances or little funny things that he comes up with, and it makes it really nice. I think that balance of folklore, horror, kind of adventure, and mystery, and then humor is great. But I wanted to plug one thing really, really quick. So I've got I'm selling all the remaining prints that I've ever made for Comic-Con. And I've been going through them, and I wanted to show you guys really quick what I have available, and I'll go through these really fast. I grabbed these yesterday, so this is the first wave of prints that I have available. We'll look at them really quick just so you can get a sense of them. But if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I've got you can direct message me and I can set it up. I'm selling them in either 2 or 3 groups. I'm not doing single prints. It's too much work. I sent off 4 packages today. It took almost an hour to pack them. I'm shipping them like original art. So you've got a black drawing from me that's kind of an H.R. Giger sort of Alex Gray kind of vibe to it. We've got classic David Finch, Wonder Woman 36. These are photographs of the prints, so they're a little oversaturated. They're printed on a really, really beautiful printer at my friend's shop. I've got some black and white David Finch prints of Wonder Woman. I've got these mashup pieces. So these are commissions that Finch and I did. So you've got Batman Face Off with Wolverine, and then this is actually colored and inked by me. So the whole piece is inked by me and also colored, simple colors, the old school Marvel. Got this piece. This is from Batman Dark Knight. Got a Trinity piece that's Jim Lee and myself. This was a triple gatefold cover that ran, and it's always been a really popular print. We've got, I call it Stitch Face Batman. It's Batman Dark Knight #10 cover. It's a great piece. Saturn, probably one of my most popular black drawing pieces. So we've got that. We've got this cool one. This is Court of Owls crossover in our Batman Dark Knight, and it's Finch. Another David Finch commission. There's a lot of Finch in here, and it's funny because I've done so many different prints over the years, but these just happen to be the ones that I have left, and some of them I don't have many of, and I'm not reprinting them. So when they're gone, they really are gone, and none of them have ever been printed at some ridiculous number. So if you get them, you're really getting something that actually is quite rare. This Silvestri demo that I did with Mephisto. There's just a couple more. These are the Green Hulk mashups, and I have a Gray Hulk mashup. I only have one of this print left, believe it or not. So this one is super, super scarce. Hellboy, this is my pencils. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So yeah, this is a piece that I did quite a long time ago, but people generally I don't pencil this tight anymore because I don't really need to, but I used to pencil really, really tight, and just to do that and then ink as much detail as I do, it's a little not wise. And then we've got this one, and then we're almost done. I think that was it. Oh no, Dark Knight cover. This is the Dark Knight, I believe 11 cover, Finch and I. And then black and white Stitch Face Batman. Again, this one I have very, very few left of. And it's a very, very difficult print to actually print. because of all the black makes it challenging. So, oh, and then this Death of the Family, I call this piece, which is a really cool piece. Tons of cool villains, and then Batman under a scarecrow's venom hallucinating. I think that's it. Oh, Bane breaking Batman's back. There can't be many more. Punching Superman getting punched by Batman. And then this one is kind of a mashup of a bunch of different pieces. This is actually my pencils and inks up here. It's based on a Jim Lee all-star piece, I think. I was hired by DC Licensing to take something that he had done, redraw it in a slightly different style. So it's really a Jim Lee piece, but I did pencil and ink it. Dark Knight #1 cover, always really popular. And then Bane getting kicked by Batman and punched, and that should be it. Oh, and then Wonder Woman. I call her this Savage Wonder Woman or Bloodlust. All right, so let's get into Screw-On Head. Normally I don't plug like that in front of a video, but I just it's like I'm trying to get rid of this stuff and make room just in general, and it's not like a fire sale, but anyway. All right, so cool cover, new cover, lovely colors. I absolutely love what Dave Stewart does on Mike. It's always just beautiful. And let's go in order. It's been so long since I've had my comic out. I'm assuming this is the original cover. I've seen this as an ad, and it's weird to see it without the trade dress too, so it's throwing me off a little bit. The cover is so iconic with that bright yellow Amazing Screw-On Head font that it's always interesting to see it not there. His work is so cool. It's such a fun look, and it's just I've enjoyed Mike's work really since I began collecting. So he's definitely one of my just longest running artists that I've followed. We can look at the credits real quick. So letters by Clem Robbins and Pat Brousseau always do beautiful work, to be honest. The lettering in Hellboy has always been top notch. And then we've got everything else. Colors by Dave Stewart. And then the Magician and the Snake is an extra story that they've published in here that was written by his daughter. And Mike always says, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of his favorite stories that he's done. So, little nod to Abe Lincoln for my wife, my daughter, and former U.S. President Abraham Lincoln. All right, let's go. Oh, okay, this is the original cover. My bad. I thought that one wasn't. It's been a while. My Mignola is all together. He's like, I have a few collections of comics that I keep together. Mike's stuff I usually have it pretty organized. I think it helps that he's done such a long body of work on Hellboy. For people that collect a lot of comics, you know what I'm saying. Some artists where it's like if they've done some X-Men, they've done other stuff, it's like you're torn between do you organize it by title, like it's just going to go with all your X-Men books, or is it going to go in a you know, a Jimmy Chung box or whoever the artist is, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this was funny. God, man, this brings back so many memories. The statue like announcing the thing. Screw-On Head. Where is he? Oh. I was privy to a phone call to Scott Doombeer many years ago, and I just happened to be he was editor-in-chief at that time. He's the guy that actually came up with the artist edition books later at IDW, and he was also an art dealer before he was editor-in-chief at Wildstorm. But I walked by, and we're real good friends, and so I was saying hi to him, and he had Mike Mignola on the phone, and Mike was telling him about a new character that he had made up called Lobster Johnson, and Mike thought it was hysterical. And he was asking Scott what he thought of the name. Now Mike might not remember that. I mean, he wouldn't have known I was in the room or that I had walked by, but I remember he thought that was so funny. It is a funny name for a character. Could be seen as dirty, right? I don't know. Thanks for everyone that wrote like nice comments under the videos for Kim Jung-ji. It was cool. I tried to read them all. I tried to reply to most of them. There was a point where I just kind of gave up and went like, it's time to just let the gods of YouTube handle this. And so I had to move on. I had a lot of stuff that I needed to get back to also. So man, this is so great. throughout my collecting career, there's been a lot of different artists that I've seen incorporate Mignola into their work, from subtle to more obvious, and it's a very powerful aesthetic. Most times it is noticeable, and it's a tribute or testament to how iconic Mike's work is. Because, boy, you put a little Mignola in your stuff, and it really can kind of show up. Certain artists kind of own things like that. I mean, I've talked about how Bill Sienkiewicz is another artist where there's certain things that Bill does that are just so synonymous with him, even though they're techniques that have been used by many people, you know, before and after him. But, you know, you hit on a few notes of Sienkiewicz, and it's going to, you know, people will definitely go, this reminds me of Bill Sienkiewicz, which is fine. But it is interesting. But Mike's work is like that, I think. I'm sure you can think of some artists that you've seen. There was a new artist that I saw just even in the last, like, probably 8 months that had a heavy Mignola vibe in their work. And, yeah, I remember seeing it and going like, wow, okay, like, because they were really kind of trying to do Mike. They're published. It was published comics for, I think, kind of not. I don't think it was Image, but something kind of similar to that. What ends up happening though is once you start to get into storytelling, it becomes really challenging, because if you're having to cross-reference Mike, then it starts to I think have a disconnect between your ideas, the script, and the execution. I love these things. There was a point where I actually thought that Mike kind of almost maybe had gotten into Phil Hale. I can't remember if it was in this stuff, but there was some corpse type faces that he did that I was like, man, this really reminds me a little bit of like Phil Hale. Not this, but if I see one in here, I'll point it out. It's actually really interesting coming back and looking at Mike's stuff, because I haven't really looked at it in the last 2 years on any kind of like in-depth thing. This is probably the most in-depth that I've looked at Mike's work and since before I did a comic that I did called Crystal Planet. And it is really, really interesting coming back and looking at it now with more of a penciler layout, structure, form. What would you call it? Like I have a little more experience, a lot more, but yeah, it's really, really cool. Definitely worth studying. Not 100% sure I'm going to be able to do a video every day this week, because I have a really, really busy week. I'm trying to get the Indiegogo page up this week. Last week was just so like unexpected. I didn't get as much done as I would have hoped on that end, but this week it's a goal, and I've got some other stuff going on, so it should be fun. It'll be a good week. Lots of art. Yeah, if you want those prints, please, please, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to set you up. And again, I can't do one right now. Maybe later, but I don't have the time to be shipping singles to people. So it's not just packing them, but then I have to drive to the post office, stand in line, and it's not going to happen for a single print. This is so cool. There's some really funny gags in this story too. I won't go over the story in case you've never read it, but it is got some funny stuff. And you know, Mike's work has evolved over the years too. I know I definitely had friends that really, they're like Seed of Destruction or like nothing. And I'm like, you don't like Wake the Devil? It's like Seed of Destruction was like the best. So it's interesting as his work went along, he refined it more and more and dropped out more of the detail. And you know, if you're a detail freak, then it might you know, you might lean towards like Seed. I like it all. I like it all. This is another book where you could actually turn this stuff black and white pretty easy, I think. If you really wanted to. Yeah, I thought so. Not artist edition, but pretty easy to remove the color on this, just based on that it's not there's a little bit more gray in here, but yeah, it's not really colored over the line art. Sometimes like Top Cow would be an example. Like if you grab like a Top Cow book from back in the day, you can't really do it because of the way that the work is colored. It's so integrated into the line art and over the line art, and so many shades. Very difficult, but man, it's so cool. the hot air balloon or whatever it is so funny. But yeah, pretty exciting. It's amazing to me, you know, old people say this all the time. It is a little hard to believe that Screw On Head came out 20 years ago. If I was gonna guess, I would put it at like 12 years ago. So it definitely does not seem like 20. That's for sure. Oh man, it's awesome. God, I love, like, I swear, like his sketches and like the pencil sketches and blue line and like little stabs with like Sharpie that he does. I think that stuff is so cool. But I've seen pages of like monster designs that he works out. I'm really hoping that they do some more artist editions of his work. Honestly, that would be very cool to get more. I like storytelling like this with stats and like something happens really fast, but the person in this case Screw On Head, or whoever the bad guy here, he doesn't even have time to react. It's just like she vanishes, and it's just like he's like pretty much almost frozen in one spot. They are different drawings though. If you actually look, I'll show you. You see these lines are curved down. They curve the same way as this. These are curved up, so these are two actually different drawings. They're so similar though, that odds are he lightboxed this one, then just inked it again. So they're pretty close. The shadow on his ear is a little different too. But I like even when people use pure stats, where it literally is the same piece of art, just like with the computers moved over to the panel. When I read it, I like the feeling that it gives me. That kind of blink of the eye, and something changed. Monster's so cool. One thing too, as someone who puts a lot of black on their stuff, this stuff would take a long time to fill in the blacks on. You know, like it may seem like simple art, but when you have to dodge and duck and go around all these little black areas, this page isn't so detailed, but like a page like this, panel like this, you know, with all this black and little areas that remain white and stuff like that, it can be kind of a pain in the butt. You know, honestly, it takes a little while. Yeah, I really like Mike's writing, to be honest. I think someone asked me what I thought was, or I don't know if they said favorite. They asked me what I thought like one of the better fantasy books was, and I was having trouble thinking of a pure fantasy book, but I said, well, I mean, kind of Hellboy is like it's like a cross genre type book, but it's definitely fantastical, but it's not sword and sorcery fantasy, but yeah, I don't know. Like, is there like an American published like fantasy book? I'm trying to think if I can think of anything. And then what would be the best? I kept thinking back. I was like, Camelot, you know, maybe something like that. I didn't know. So I said Hellboy. And I gave an honorable mention to Joe Madureira on Battle Chasers, although again, it's not really like pure fantasy, but it's a little bit of that. Ah, it's a nice drawing right there. This is really good. I did shoot Kelsey a note today to see if he's around. There was an interesting announcement that I saw, and I hope I got this right. But they're republishing the Nam by Michael Golden for a European edition, And what's interesting is that one of our favorite artists is coloring it, recoloring it, which is crazy because honestly, the first issue in particular of the NAM has got some really beautiful colors on it. But Olivier Vatine is coloring it, I believe, and Kelsey and I are both big fans of Vatine, and so I wrote him about it, but I don't know if I'll hear back. But I did try to reach out to him. So all right, you guys have a good day. Hopefully you're all either reading comics or drawing some stuff or whatever you're up to, and yeah, consider getting some prints, and if not, just consider following me on Instagram or Facebook anyway, because I post a lot of art. Last week was a little bit of a dry spell, but it was a kind of a weird week, but I'm back on it now. So all right, you guys have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Please, any recommendations you have, I'll definitely consider them. We will return back to the Marvel UK stuff. I have some manga artists that I want to explore, but you've seen over the last few weeks that I'm very reactive to recommendations. So, if you put up a recommendation that grabs my fancy ASAP, then a lot of times it'll be the next day's video. Sorry, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.